What's up, everybody? Pat here, grateful recovering alcoholic and addict. Oh boy, what a day! I don't know where you guys are in the world, but here in Boston, there was the temperature wouldn't have been bad other than the wind chill factor. I think the wind chill factor was like 12 degrees today, and I was out doing a little bit of cleanup at one of our properties over on the other side of the city. Icy, and the wind was nasty, but honestly, I took it easy. I took the morning off and rested after being out plowing all weekend, right? And the reason I say this is because again, it touches back on self care. Self care as you're going through recovery is enormous, guys. You're really it's something I'm taking quite seriously, and I'm loving the results. I used to run myself ragged constantly, and even coming out of rehab, the day I could get a job, I dive back into a job and just go full steam ahead. And I'm not doing that today, and I'm loving it, right? I mean, granted, I'm working for myself right now, so I can pick and choose, and I'm still in early stage of recovery, so I'm not taking life back on full force yet, but I'm easing my way into it and finding where I want to be. But that's very important, guys, right? Now, anyway, we're gonna pick back up on yesterday's video, right? I was kind of happy with the topic, and so we'll touch briefly, guys. Remember it was about scientific, praying scientifically, right? The keys to victory, and if you're gonna watch this one, I suggest watching that one first. But anyway, right? Again, praying scientifically, guys. Asking God for the right things. Not the shiny trinket shit like we talk about, but asking Him for your path in life, right? Find out who it is that you're meant to be. Because if you're running an alcoholism and addiction, chances are it's because you're not being who you're meant to be, or you're dealing with some serious wounds. And again, find these things, heal the wounds, right? And it's all about becoming the best version of yourself possible. Again, that's something I pray for every time I pray. I ask God to help me continue to become the best version of me that I possibly can be. And I mean, I hope to God I'm not there yet, but I've come a hell of a long way. I feel a lot better about who I am, how I feel, the way I think, just my overall outlook. Like I said, I talk about all the time. It's how I know God is real, because I've become a completely new person through His light, right? So, guys, pray, meditate. It's everything. It's so important. It works so well. Find your path, of course, but give these things a shot. You know what I mean? If you're watching, then chances are if you got this far in the videos of me, then clearly you don't have you have an issue with the higher power, right? You don't have an issue with God. This is literally fixing your life through the power of faith, right? Faith in God. So, yeah. So, as you're becoming the better version of you, right? Now, in the beginning, you start off small, and if it's working, it's going to start to expand quickly, right? My life, my world is expanding hugely. Like, my ambitions are changing all the time, because I'm starting to understand that I'm capable of so much more. I mean, when I entered into this, guys, I just wanted to be able to get through a day without doing drugs, and I was happy with, I thought I was happy with, where my life was at. And now I've quit my job, and I've cut out all these toxic relationships, and I'm making room for good things in my life. So as you start to pray to become a better version of yourself, be prepared that it may be a lot bigger than you think it is, and embrace that, because all it is just you're cutting out all negative things that brought you into doing drugs or drinking, and making room for things that'll keep you from wanting to, finding a way to live life that makes you not want to medicate yourself. It's funny. Just side note. I was talking to a kid today, getting my coffee over at Cumberland Farms, and he was talking about this amazing weed that he just got, and I'm like, I'm all for it, guys. Trees are natural. I don't consider that a drug, or but again, everybody's different. Now, for me, in early sobriety, it's not something I'm doing because I want my head clear, and I'm actually, for the first time in my life, happy with the person that resides inside my head, so I don't need to medicate myself in any way, shape, or form. But even just talking with this guy, like anything like that in moderation, I don't consider a bad thing. And I don't even know why I got on that topic. But anyway, we just let that go. Just a quick. That's my personal note. I know a lot of times there's a lot of you get into AA and NA, and there's a lot of very differing opinions on that. I mean, for myself, I would suggest in early recovery staying away from it, just because you got to find out who you are without any medication other than doctor prescribed mental health or physical health medication, obviously, guys. But I'm talking about mind. When I refer to drugs, I'm talking about mind altering substances, right? And at the end of the day, we a little bit of trees. If you got high anxiety or you got a condition, by all means, guys, by all means. And what you're gonna have to find your own. I'm not gonna advocate or non-advocate, right? But I will say that for myself, just because I'm trying to learn who I am, I'm staying away from it. But I have no problem with trees. I think they're totally natural, and it's more of a medicine than anything else. And we'll just leave it at that, okay? Form your own opinions, but do it like everything I tell you guys. Form your own opinions. Do your research, right? Ask questions. Don't take anything anybody tells you as a hard, fast rule because everything's different for everybody. But be honest with yourself and understand whether you're medicating and you're just picking up and smoking all of a sudden an ounce of weed instead of doing heroin or whatever benzos or whatever the case may be. Be honest with yourself and go from there. Okay, that's the best advice I can give you on that. Anyway, so as you start trying to become the better version of yourself, you're gonna find yourself shocked at some of the things some of the decisions you're making for the better, and you're gonna be proud of yourself, right? And you're also gonna find yourself doing things and noticing that some of the things, some of the things that you didn't think you were coming to change right off the bat were things that are starting to grab at you, right? Always pay attention to that little voice in the back of your head, your intuition, right? Because typically, if you say something, do something, and you feel uncomfortable about it afterwards, that might be the next area of your life that you want to start looking into. And don't be afraid to, guys. This is all about change and change for the better, right? If you stop changing as a person, you stop growing as a person. So don't be afraid of these things, right? And take them. Don't overwhelm yourself, but and don't take immediate drastic action unless it's a dangerous action. You need to ease into it and start to pay attention to these things, right? Because this is where the real growth, this is where the real life changes start to come in, guys, and they're beautiful. I mean, I promise you, they'll be very rewarding. So you're going to start to find other areas, like I said, other areas where you might be lacking or, holding beliefs, limiting beliefs, or just beliefs in general, or, just areas that you could be a better person at. Don't be afraid of it. This is why you're doing what you're doing. And when you're praying to be the best version of yourself, you're going to start to find, as you tackle, obviously you take the biggest ones on first, which, i.e., not drinking and doing drugs, not furthering oppression or belittling people, or you know what I mean, the big stuff, the obvious stuff, guys. But even then, you'll start to see, if you do something that feels out of alignment with this new version of you, you're gonna notice it right off the bat. Don't be afraid to change it. And if you catch yourself as you do it, and you will, I promise you. Like literally, I caught myself doing. I'd be halfway through a sentence, like, wow, that's kind of like an old me belief there. I apologize. The biggest thing you can do now, again, there's a fine line between over apologizing and apologizing, right? Don't over apologize, but don't be afraid to apologize. That's something I noticed. Like everybody seems to think that if they apologize, it's a sign of weakness. No, it's not. It's a sign of strength. It's a sign of being willing to acknowledge that you're not perfect, that you made a mistake, and owning it, right? And for growth, particularly spiritual growth, that's hugely important, guys. And it's also a great way for other people to see that you're growing, and it tends to plant seeds in their minds as well, if the areas they may be lacking. Again, this is how we make change, right? And so there's not always, focus on yourself. Don't go around correcting other people without correcting yourself. Like I talked about that a little bit yesterday, but that's hugely important, guys. It really is. It's so much easier to pick somebody else apart than it is to actually look within and start to do the work on yourself. But this is where the beauty lies, guys. Changing yourself changes everything, including other people, right? For the better, not the worse. So, like I said, pay attention, right? If you catch yourself going out of line, get back in the line and apologize for it, right? Don't be afraid to. Everything. As you're starting to see changes, and make changes, you're gonna start to see the light and see other areas where you need work and focus on that, right? So, as you start looking at yourself, start looking at your resentments, right? You're gonna, you always start with yourself first. You don't, if you're looking at, even if you're looking at where resentments for other people or where you're getting angry at other people, because again, you got to get rid of the anger, anger, stress, resentment, anxiety, all these things. You get these things out of your life, and you stop being. It's poison to your heart. It's poison to your soul. This is what we're trying to do: is remove these things from our life, and it's hugely therapeutic and beneficial, right? But always start with yourself first, okay? Take time to heal your wounds, right? Find out if you're noticing that I react this way because this happened to me. Well, then okay, stop and think about that, right? And always look at your accountability in things first, okay? Because you'll find, other than outright oppression, you'll find 99% of the time, if we're in a situation we're not happy with, we have some sort of accountability, we're getting ourselves into that situation. And it's, again, much easier to try and blame somebody else, but when you can start to take accountability for your part in things, because at the end of the day, these are the things you can control and change, okay? And this is how you start to see real results. Now, again, as you're healing from wounds, guys, feel the emotions. Don't repress anything. That's something I did forever. Repress, repress, repress. So when I get into early sobriety, I talk about it all the time, and the reason I say it is I want people to understand it's okay. I would find myself getting really emotional because I was feeling feelings for the first time. And in the beginning, it was really confusing for me. Like, what is going on here? But I worked through that, and I found that it's just a matter of after medicating myself for so long that I was doing it to not feel anything and just to be a robot and be able to go on, right, and go through anything because I was putting myself in situations that were just insane. Like, no human being should have to live through them, and in order to get through them, I would medicate myself. So as I come out of that, I was dealing with a lot of emotions, and that's perfectly okay, guys. Don't repress your emotions. Feel them. Feel them in a healthy way, right? If you're finding a lot of anger for situations, then go hit a punching bag. Go to the gym. I work out. I go to the gym, usually every other day because it helps me get a lot of that stress out. Because I got a lot of baggage somehow, guys. But I feel at least I'm doing it in a healthy way and I'm not beating myself up over it. That's huge, guys. You can't just sit there and go, oh, I'm terrible. No, you're not. You're not. You're dealing with shit you had to deal with. All right. So again, honor the emotions you feel and release them. Okay, you've got to release them, guys. That's so important. Something that it's enormously important. I mean, the biggest thing that keeps us stuck in places are holding on to emotions that are negative. You can't carry them with you, guys. And so many people I know, this is the biggest thing that gets them stuck. I know people that are in their 40s that are still talking about, well, it's because so and so treated me. Excuse me. So and so treated me like this as a kid. This that. No, man, come on. Yeah, they did. Okay. So honor your feelings, feel your emotions, honor them, talk to God about them, all right? Instead of just being angry about it, get into an actual lengthy conversation with God about it. Say, well, this is, start to question, why am I mad about this? Why am I still carrying this, right? And talk it out because you're going to find at the end of it, if you're doing it honestly, at the end of it, you're going to find that it's got more to do with you than anything else, and it created a lack or a limiting belief or something, right? You're going to find enlightenment at the end of it. But again, always purge the emotions. However you got to do it. Talk to God about it. Do it through meditation. If it's something you can't get over, then by all means, go talk to a therapist. It's one thing I always advocate, guys. It's these self-help, like I call it, I guess I consider these kind of like self-help videos, right? And they're great, fantastic. But at the end of the day, if you've got something that's more than we can handle in a YouTube video, then guys, go seek professional help. It's the most important thing in the world. You can, if you need it, you need it. Equate it to cutting your hand off, right? If you cut your hand off in a friggin', table saw, you're not going to go grab a Band-Aid and look online to how you can, close the wound with super glue, right? No, you're going to fucking wrap it tight and run to the emergency room, right? Well, treat anything like that, right? If you need further help for it or further treatment for it, then go get further treatment, guys. You're gonna find a lot of good comes out of it, right? Never mind the stigma. It's like everybody deals with shit these days, so don't be afraid. Okay, that being said, remember, purge your emotions. It's enormously important. It keeps us stuck in places, right? Not releasing built up emotions, frustrations, anger, envy, right? Envy's huge, guys. How would I want to say this? The enemy of happiness is envy. Okay, comparing yourself with others that may have more or or didn't, well, whatever. Just everybody is different. I say that in every video, guys. Everybody's different. God made us all different for different reasons. We go through different situations. We have different strengths, different weaknesses, different challenges, and different opportunities. Okay, so don't compare yourself with somebody else. Just focus on you and how you can better yourself and how you can be better to people in your life so that they're better to you and just create a more harmonious environment, right? So remember that envy is a terrible thing, guys. There's nothing good that comes out of envy. Okay. Yeah, feel your emotions. Forgive you. Oh, all right, here you go. Forgive yourself, guys. As you start to take accountability, you're gonna realize you're not perfect, right? And then you may find out you're doing a lot. Sometimes you'll find that in some situations you have a lot more accountability than you might have originally thought, and that's okay because again, the whole point of healing is understanding these things so that we can heal this, right? Take accountability for it. Forgive yourself, okay? And when you do, get over it. Like whatever, if you're getting stuck on the same emotion day in and day out for a week or beyond, seek help because You got to be able to purge and relieve and move on, or you're never going to get anywhere. Okay. Now, the other thing I talk about is prayer, right? In prayer, guys, if there's things that are really stressing you out and making you anxious, give it to God. Like, literally, speak to God like a beloved father about these things and just let it go. Hey, God, this so and such is bothering me. I can't seem to get myself out of the situation. Will you please take this burden off my chest, please? And be honest with it. And I'll tell you, you find it works really, really well. It's crazy, but I'm telling you, it works. Another big way you can make changes, guys, is meditation, right? I talk about this a lot too because this has been the most eye-opening thing recent for me. As I got through my early stages in therapy and finding this great, amazing relationship with God, I'm finding meditation is an incredibly, incredibly strong tool. Like I am blown. I tried meditation years ago, and I just, what it was is I couldn't slow my head down. I couldn't get out of my own way to enjoy it. Now that I've actually found beauty in silence, and I'm actually able to control myself and control my emotions and come at things from a more even keel. I'm getting amazing results out of meditation, guys. It's awesome. Like physical and mental results out of this. So okay, let's see. All right, now as you deal with the stuff that you're into things, right? Now we start to look at other people's behaviors, right? And what are we holding resentments for other people for? Who did this? Who did this? Now, like I said, other than outright oppression and things that you can't control, right? Forgive, bless them, and release them. If it's something that's in your life, talk to them about it, right? Communication is key. We walk around with all these major resentments and thinking so and so is doing this to me, and they know they're doing it. And 9 times out of 10, when you have a conversation, right, they either have no idea that you're feeling the way you do about something, and by bringing it to their attention, chances are that they're not going to continue doing it. If they are, there might be somebody you might have to release from your life. I mean, it's a hard truth, guys, and I talked about it yesterday. We'll touch on it again today. As you start to get better and better your life, not everybody in your life is going to come with you. And I mean that's something that I had a little bit. It was hard for me to understand that in early recovery, walking out of rehab, and because I'm doing the honest work and getting the honest results, I wasn't back at work 3 hours, and I'm like, you know what, I can't do this. I gotta move on, right? And I decided to go back to school, but again, and now that I'm healed from that and I walked away, I'm actually getting to the point where I'm, at least being able to be, friendly with that situation again, but I'm not, holding the resentments for it. But again, it wasn't where I needed to be. It was actually a great job, other than certain aspects of it. And I know what I'm saying these things, so I don't know if he's watching me right now. So, you know what, I got to get over it. It is what it is. It just, the job wasn't right for me anymore. But it was a situation where I had to take my accountability because of my needs and my addiction and my needing to be somebody that was so indispensable that when I needed an extra $100 every other day, that I could get it. So I made myself indispensable. I'd taken on way too much work and way too much responsibility. So I had to take my accountability for that. But at the same time, it wasn't something I could just step backwards from and say, oh, I just want to be a regular employee now, because it just doesn't work that way. I already had put myself in a position where there was too much expected from me. So it was a big part of the reason I had to walk away. That's why I had to walk away from all my life, because I did these in all my situations, right? So for me, I accepted pretty much early on that I had to let everything go and start fresh. And I understand that, for most people, that's not a realistic point of view. But unfortunately, guys, when you look at my story, like, the understanding that any given moment in my life could be taken away from me and I'd have to completely start fresh is something I dealt with on a daily basis for decades, right? And it gives me a pretty, that's why I kind of feel qualified to be doing these things, guys. It gives me a very different perspective than most people, because again, I've been through things that would break most people, and I was doing like they were just daily occurrences, because that's the hell that I put myself through, okay? So, just bear that in mind. But, just keep in mind, you may have to cut ties with certain people as you're starting to, to better your life. And, wow, this is actually taking a lot more than I thought. I still got another page and a half to get through here. So, we're coming up in 20 minutes, guys. We're gonna leave it here for the day, and we'll pick up the rest of this tomorrow, right? We're just gonna keep doing this every day and bring you to a progression, and I hope this is helping. But remember, guys, reflection, honesty, allowing God into life. That's the other thing. I don't know if I ever brought this up, but guys, with the whole free will thing, guys, you gotta ask God into your heart, into your life when you're praying, right? And especially if you're just starting to pray, make sure you do that, because He gives you free will, right? And I mean, I feel maybe if you're praying, you're pretty much covering that. But you know what? In case you're not, ask Him. God, I invite you into my life. please, I know you've always been here with me, but now I seek your active guidance, okay? So that's a very, very big point. Guys, remember, God loves you. I love you. I want better for you. You should want better for yourself. You want better, you do better, you get better. It's as simple as that, guys. But these are the action steps. These are the keys, the steps to victory, right? The golden key, right? So remember, God loves you. I love you. Be safe. Stay warm. Do something good for yourself. Look into these. Look into the things that bother you, and what you got to do to get rid of them, to unburden yourself from these things, and help somebody else along the way. Always, always help somebody else along the way, guys. It goes really far. You never know when the flat tire you fix today belongs to the daughter of the boss you're applying to a job for tomorrow. Okay, I'll put it like that. I'll make that axiom up. Okay, all right, guys. God loves you. I love you. Thank you. We'll see you in the next one.